Morning rush hour. Crowds blur past mirrored glass. You catch a flash of your reflection, but the person staring back feels counterfeit. Lips curved just right, eyes rehearsed, clothes calibrated for approval. Then, for half a heartbeat, the mask slips. A spasm in the smile, a flicker of panic, and you see it. The fracture you've hidden for years. Addiction recovery doesn't begin with quitting. It begins when your identity starts to collapse. Carl Jung called it the breaking of the persona, the moment your mask no longer works, and the shadow starts to rise. But what if the life you've built, your choices, your personality, your relationships, were all shaped by suppressed emotions? What if the person they loved was never really you? This isn't just about cravings. It's about confronting the unconscious mind and what it's been hiding beneath the performance. In Stage 3 of the shadow craving, we explore the psychology of addiction, identity collapse, and the pain of becoming real. Keep your eyes on the mirror, because what blinks next will rewrite everything you call you. The persona isn't who you are, it's who you learn to be. Carl Jung described the persona as the mask we wear, not to deceive, but to survive. It's the role that earns approval, the face that keeps us safe. Over time, that role becomes automatic. You become the achiever, the caretaker, the strong one, the one who doesn't need help. But here's the truth. The persona is adaptation, not identity. And in the process of building it, you bury the parts of you that felt inconvenient, emotional, or unlovable. In the psychology of addiction, this split becomes dangerous because the more you hide the shadow, the more your unconscious mind tries to reveal it through craving, collapse, and emotional sabotage. And that's when the mask begins to crack. If this moment speaks to something you've felt, leave a trace in the comments, a sentence, a thought, a memory. Someone else might read your words and recognize themselves. And sometimes, that's how healing begins. Not alone, but in quiet connection. It doesn't shatter all at once. Sometimes, the mask breaks quietly. A pause too long in a conversation. A craving that hits when you thought you were healed. A sudden, unbearable silence in a room full of people. That's how the persona collapses. Not with drama, but with dissonance. You feel it when your behavior no longer matches your truth. When pretending becomes painful. When achievement no longer soothes you, and your smile feels like a costume. In recovery, this stage is often mistaken for relapse, but it's not failure. It's your unconscious mind rejecting the performance. You may feel lost, numb, angry, or untethered. These are the emotional triggers shadow work exposes, because when the mask cracks, the shadow speaks louder. And what it says is everything you've been afraid to feel. Collapse isn't the end, it's the passage. Carl Jung believed that true transformation begins when the false self disintegrates. This is the initiation no one prepares you for. When the mask dissolves, and what's left isn't clarity, but chaos. You don't know who you are. You only know you can't go back. This is where many people relapse, not because they're weak, but because they're untethered. Addiction becomes the rope that still feels familiar. But if you can stand in the uncertainty, if you can resist reaching for the old identity, something new begins. The shadow self isn't here to destroy you. It's here to integrate you, to show you the parts of yourself you've been conditioned to abandon. This collapse is a return. No one tells you that healing will feel like grief, not because you're broken, but because you're letting go. of the person who kept you safe. You mourn the version of you that knew how to numb, the part of you that stayed quiet, smiled when it hurt, achieved when you were exhausted. This is the pain of becoming real, not because truth is cruel, but because the mask was comfortable. Addiction recovery isn't just about stopping. It's about releasing identities that never belonged to you. Carl Jung taught that this descent into the shadow is the only path to wholeness. But it's not clean. It's not proud. It's shaking hands, late-night tears, sitting in silence when all you want is a distraction. Because for the first time, you're not performing. You're listening. And underneath the ache, someone real is starting to speak. You don't need a 10-step plan. You need permission to not know who you are right now. When the persona collapses, there's a hunger to rebuild it fast, to fill the space, to be someone, to feel normal. Don't sit in the in-between. Shadow work isn't about becoming better. It's about becoming honest. Name what's coming up: anger, emptiness, panic, guilt. Write it down. Let it speak. Recovery means letting your nervous system unlearn urgency. Give yourself stillness. Walk, breathe, speak less, feel more. The craving may return, not for the substance, but for the mask. Resist the old roles. You don't have to rebuild who you were. You're not going back. You're moving through, and something far more true is waiting. The mask is gone. You're no longer pretending. But now, something deeper begins to emerge. From the unconscious rises the next test, not the role you played, but the force that shaped it. In Jung's language, it's called the archetype, a powerful pattern living in your psyche. The critic, the child, the savior, the addict. Each one carries a message and a warning. In stage 4, we face what lives behind the craving, the archetypal shadow that's been driving your choices. You've broken the mask. Now you meet the voice that wore it. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to drop a comment below and share your opinions. We read every single one. Thanks for watching.